There is a strange kind of tiredness that sleep does not fix. It happens after certain conversations. You close the door, put your phone down, or sit alone in your car for a minute, and your body feels heavy. Nothing dramatic happened. No one screamed. No obvious line was crossed. But somehow, you feel less clear than before. You start replaying what you said. You wonder if you were too sensitive. You think of a better response. You blame yourself for feeling uncomfortable. That moment matters, because emotional harm is not always loud. Sometimes it arrives politely. It smiles. It uses concern as a costume. It asks for understanding while slowly making you doubt your own mind. The skill we are building today is not paranoia. It is discernment. It is the quiet ability to know who deserves access to your attention, your energy, your trust, and your private world. There is a reason certain people leave you tense. You may not have a complete explanation yet, but your nervous system is already collecting evidence. A slightly sharp tone hidden under a joke, a compliment that somehow makes you feel smaller, a question that feels less like curiosity and more like control, a conversation where you keep editing yourself because you sense one wrong sentence could become a problem. Your mind may say, "They did not technically do anything wrong." Your body may say, "Be careful." That signal should not become your entire decision, but it deserves a place in the conversation. A simple practice is to stop asking, "Can I prove this person is toxic?" and start asking, "What happens to me after I spend time with them? Do you feel calm or contracted? Do you feel more like yourself or less like yourself? Do you feel free to speak honestly? Or do you feel like you are managing their reaction?" This is not about judging someone after one awkward moment. Everyone has bad days. Everyone can say something clumsy. The pattern matters. Try this after your next draining interaction. Write 3 short notes. First, what happened? Second, what did I feel in my body? Third, what did I feel pressured to do? For example, they made a joke about my work. My chest tightened. I felt pressured to laugh so the room would stay comfortable. 1 note may mean nothing. 5 notes may show you a map. Many people lose themselves because they wait for a dramatic event before they trust their discomfort. They think pain has to be obvious before it counts. But emotional intelligence often begins with noticing the small places where your body keeps whispering, "This does not feel safe." You do not need to accuse anyone immediately. You do need to pay attention. Some people are easy to forgive because they know exactly what to say. They apologize with the perfect tone. They explain their stress. They tell you they never meant it that way. They say they care about you. They promise it will not happen again. And for a moment, your mind relaxes. Then, the same thing returns in a different outfit. The criticism becomes advice. The control becomes concern. The disrespect becomes, "I was only joking." The silence becomes punishment. This is why emotionally mature people do not build trust on speeches. They build trust on repeated behavior. A person's pattern is their real message. If someone says they respect you but keeps interrupting you, believe the interruption. If someone says they want peace but keeps creating confusion, believe the confusion. If someone says they are sorry but keeps benefiting from the same behavior, I believe the benefit. A useful tool is the 3-time pattern rule. The first time, you notice. The second time, you name it privately. The third time, you respond with a boundary. This prevents 2 common mistakes. The first mistake is reacting too quickly and turning every uncomfortable moment into a crisis. The second mistake is waiting too long and calling a pattern a misunderstanding for months or years. For example, imagine someone keeps making you feel guilty whenever you say no. The first time, you notice the guilt. The second time, you write it down. When I decline, they make me feel responsible for their disappointment. The third time, you stop explaining and say, "I understand you are disappointed. My answer is still no." That sentence is powerful because it does not attack them. It does not invite a debate. It also does not abandon your decision. Toxic dynamics survive in fog. Patterns bring light. And once you can see the pattern clearly, you no longer have to keep arguing with isolated moments. Many people think a boundary has to sound dramatic. They imagine a serious conversation, a long message, a perfectly worded explanation that finally makes the other person understand. But the strongest boundaries are often quiet and repeatable. A boundary is not mainly about controlling another person. It is about deciding what you will do when a certain behavior appears. That difference changes everything. Instead of saying, "You need to stop talking to me like that," you can say, "If this conversation becomes insulting, I am going to end it and we can talk later." Instead of saying, "You always pressure me," you can say, "I am not making this decision while I feel rushed." Instead of saying, "You are too negative," you can say, "I do not have the capacity for this conversation tonight." Notice the structure. No courtroom. No emotional explosion. No attempt to diagnose their entire personality. Just a clear line and a clear action. The hard part is not saying the boundary. The hard part is honoring it when guilt appears. Because guilt often arrives dressed as kindness. You may think, "Maybe I am being harsh." You may worry, "What if they think I changed?" You may feel responsible for restoring comfort after you create distance. But discomfort does not always mean you did something wrong. Sometimes discomfort means you stopped abandoning yourself. A practical way to prepare is to create 3 boundary sentences before you need them. 1 for time. "I cannot talk about this right now. I will respond when I have space." 1 for tone. "I am willing to continue this conversation when it stays respectful." 1 for pressure. "I hear what you want, but I am not changing my answer." Keep them simple. Practice them out loud. Your nervous system learns through repetition. When the moment comes, you will not need to invent courage from nothing. You will already have a path. There is a painful lesson many caring people learn late. Some people are not asking for an explanation because they want to understand you. They are asking because your explanation gives them material. More words create more openings. They can question your memory. They can twist your tone. They can pull one sentence out of context. They can turn your boundary into a trial where you have to defend your right to feel what you feel. This is why calm distance is sometimes wiser than emotional negotiation. When a person feeds on reaction, your peace begins with becoming less available as a source of drama. This is where neutral communication helps. You do not need to become cruel. You do not need to become cold. You simply stop adding emotional fuel. Instead of a paragraph, send 1 sentence. Instead of defending your character, repeat your decision. Instead of arguing about their interpretation, return to the practical point. "I am not available for that. I am going to leave this conversation now. That does not work for me. I understand you see it differently." These sentences may feel too small. That is the point. They do not give the other person much to grab. There is also a quieter form of leaving that many people overlook. You do not always need a dramatic exit. Sometimes you leave by answering slower, by sharing less personal information, by no longer seeking approval from someone who uses approval as a leash, by moving them from your inner circle to your outer circle. This is emotional minimalism. You are not cutting everyone off. You are organizing access. Some people can have politeness, but not vulnerability. Some people can have cooperation, but not your secrets. Some people can have basic respect, but not unlimited time. Your inner life is not a public room. It is a home, and a home needs a door. Protecting your peace will not always feel peaceful at first. It may feel unfamiliar. It may feel selfish. It may feel like you are becoming someone harder, but often, you are simply becoming someone clearer. You are learning that kindness without self-respect becomes self-erasure. You are learning that love does not require unlimited access. You are learning that a calm life is built not only by what you choose, but by what you no longer allow to keep entering. So pay attention to the conversations that shrink you. Study the patterns, not the promises. Prepare your boundaries before the pressure arrives. And when someone keeps turning your peace into a negotiation, remember this: you do not have to prove that a fire is hot before you step away from it. If this video helped you see one relationship more clearly, stay with this channel. We are building a quieter, stronger way to live.